Ladies and gentlemen, they finally did it. The Boston Celtics made their first trade of the 2024-2025 NBA season as Brad Stevens has traded Jaden Springer from reports of Shams Charania to the Houston Rockets. The guard, who has been in trade talks since last season, has been moved to the Houston Rockets. But there's more moves to come for this Boston Celtics team as they have two open roster spots. So how will Brad Stevens fill this out, and who ultimately will be joining Joe Mazzulla's squad? We'll be diving into all of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support on the channel, which has been super, super appreciative. But if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and be a part of the 72% of people who are not subscribed. If you want to stay up to date on everything, this is the place for you. We'll be live with my boy Nick NBA tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern to go over everything Celtics and looking at this trade in more detail as well. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into it and let's get talking. Make sure to grab that snack because the Celtics, like I said, finally made a trade, and they made it on the evening of the trade deadline, which was cool to see as they moved Jaden Springer. If we want to look at the details here, we can see from Shams Charania that the Boston Celtics are trading Jaden Springer and their 2020-30 second round pick to the Houston Rockets, sources tell ESPN, where both teams are exchanging heavily protected second rounders, in which the Celtics are moving Jaden Springer and to open an additional roster spot and to reduce their tax bill. Jaden Springer makes around $4 million this season, but roughly makes $15 million in actually dollars saved by the Celtics in the move by signing a replacement player, as the luxury tax implications added on to the fact being added to Springer's contract. Houston is obviously taking a flyer, assuming that they keep Springer, and picks up an additional asset by renting out some room under the tax. And if we want to dive in, kind of look at the impact from Bobby Marks, we can see that the Celtics obviously tax penalty drops from $65 million to $52 million. So the Celtics are saving $15 million in the luxury tax, which is key for their owners to help out with them get other players as well. And now they have two open roster spots. So the Celtics could use those open roster spots, which we'll get into in a little bit, to bring back some players. But the Rockets get Jaden Springer, a $4 million contract, who's a restricted free agent next season. A team that obviously has Celtics former head coach Ime Udoka. A nice defensive guard added to that presence is something that he will definitely like, and he'll definitely have the money to pay Jaden Springer as well going into next season. And the Rockets are also acquiring Jaden Springer part of their 12.8 non-tax mid-level exception, which therefore his contract will insert into half of that, and obviously the Rockets don't have to send a player back. And that gives the Celtics that flexibility. Like I mentioned, it gives them that two roster spots. And for Springer, he obviously was a great player for this Celtics team. Didn't really get to show his much offensive gifts for this squad, but recently in that Los Angeles Clippers game was very, very dominant, showing his defensive side of the ball. And I think with that game, it really highlighted his potential for some of these other teams around the league. They viewed and saw Jaden Springer as a potential asset. And for the Boston Celtics, with him being a tradable contract and one that they knew they weren't going to re-sign or be able to keep next season, it was smart to move off of him. And by moving off of him, ultimately they are only getting second round picks. They're not getting any players back. But like I said, it frees up their cap space and gives the Celtics some more flexibility to ultimately entertain what they want to do. Now for Springer, I do want to say him fitting in for Houston is going to be absolutely great. I think he's going to absolutely flourish in that system with Ime Udoka, a very, very solid defensive metric system. And I think he can find himself a role in that guard rotation. Yes, it is, a big guard rotation with Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, and now adding Jaden Springer as that fourth guy. But I truly do believe he can be used as a teetering piece around the edges. And if the Rockets do see some potential in Jaden Springer and do believe in him, they can keep him, invest in him, and see his growth come to fruition with these other young talents. I think it's a good buy-in move for the Rockets, and I think for the Celtics, it helps them out as well, freeing up some salary cap, even if Jaden Springer did show us some nice glimpses over these last couple weeks. Even if Celtics fans, including myself, want him to stay on this team, I was ultimately devastated seeing him get moved. But like I said, I do believe for Jaden Springer to really, really pan out in the NBA, he's got to get moved to a team where he can open up offensively. And even though in Houston he still is slated behind some of those guards, I do feel like with that young team and the direction they are heading, they're going to give Springer that potential. They're going to give Springer that opportunity. And that's all I'm asking for a player, as I think he can realistically be one of the better defensive guards in the NBA. And if he gets that offensive game into polish, as we've seen with the Celtics sporadically, him hitting some threes, if he can really get that fine-tuned and be able to explore that and showcase that as well with his defensive game, I think think he could be a really solid role player in the NBA. And I want to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. But like I said, not only are the Boston Celtics moving Jaden Springer, but more moves are coming. Well, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, as the Celtics only have 13 guys under roster. And as we saw last year, leading up to the trade deadline, the Celtics did make some minor moves, trading Lamar Stevens for Xavier Tillman, trading away Delano Banton and bringing in Jaden Springer, and we just saw them do another move similar to that with moving out Jaden Springer, and they got nothing back in return besides second-round picks and cap flexibility. But with that, I do believe that the Celtics will use these two spots to kind of keep an interest on some guys. I know we've brought up some potential names from the buyout market already. Torrey Craig just got waived. He could be a potential guy that I could see the Celtics looking at to bring in for this team. We've also seen guys like Lonnie Walker be discussed as well, as he could be a potential buyout candidate. Now, he's already had some run with this Celtics team, could provide some offensive pressure, and was the guy that the Celtics looked to keep before the season started when trading Jaden Springer, but ultimately had to waive Lonnie Walker. They already had Springer under contract, but trading Springer, I could see them bringing in Lonnie Walker. I could see them looking at Torrey Craig. I could also see them using some more second-round picks to add some more guys as well via trade, but I think that provides themselves a little bit difficult. But the Celtics also could look at two guys already in their system, and if we want to look at some tweets here, we can dive in and get into that. As Noah Dalzell obviously brought up that Jaden Springer is going to fit so well in Houston's defensive-minded culture, and I agree with her, but also brought up the fact how the Celtics now have two open roster spots, and she's curious if they'll give a regular contract to either J.D. Davidson or Drew Peterson, or sign someone else. She would imagine it's one of them. It would be Drew Peterson, as he's been around the team much more, has gotten a little bit more of an opportunity, and that was something that was brought up by Jack Simone earlier on in the season, where he said when Drew Peterson was getting his little bit of a run, that he wouldn't be shocked if Peterson was that last contract brought up to this team. And I wouldn't be shocked either. We obviously seen Peterson get some run with this Celtics team. He has been able to showcase his shooting ability. He is a little bit of a raw prospect, but if the Celtics do believe in him, some like these other guys, like a Namish Keita, like a Jordan Walsh, like a Baylor Shireman, I could see him easily panning out and developing with this Celtics team as a scorer. He's a pretty solid defender. His playmaking ability is also off the charts as well. He likes to rebound. He does all those little other traits as well. I think Peterson would be a nice addition. Like I said, ultimately, I don't think the Celtics can go wrong. They will make additions. More moves will be on the horizon, and we'll have more to break it down, regardless if it's another trade for another veteran minimum player, regardless if it's a signing of a buyout type of guy, regardless of what the Celtics are interested in. I just believe that they will be making moves, even if it's bringing guys up through the farm system. The one thing to pay attention with this Boston Celtics team is to note that if they are going to pursue someone on the buyout market, since they are a second apron team and they are a second apron team, they cannot buy someone out that makes more than the non-tax mid-level exception, which means the Celtics cannot acquire someone that makes more than $12.8 million if they were bought out. So if a guy like Chris Middleton was bought out from the Washington Wizards, the Celtics could not pursue him. The Celtics can only pursue guys that are bought out under those contracts. That's why a guy like Torrey Craig fits. But like I said, I want to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know who you guys ultimately feel about this trade. Like I said, Jaden Springer going to the Rockets, very, very unfortunate for Celtics fans, ones that also felt very passionate with Springer's defense and with his role that he was bringing to this team of those last couple of weeks. But he did boost up his role, was able to be moved, and I think he'll have a better chance of finding a home in Houston in a rotation than he will in Boston. And that's ultimately what we want to see as Celtics fans. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, how you guys ultimately feel, what other moves you guys think are going to be coming, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out.